is that we do have water, a portable water system. We don't have it because of opposition. That's why we don't have water. We've had situations where we've had a plume of arsenic in one part of our county, and where we've had gasoline in this part of our county, and where we still need a portable water system. I think that you were absolutely correct. I remember, I thought it was Mr. Keefe, maybe it wasn't Mr. Keefe, said something about we needed a plan some time ago. And I would hope that we would have a plan. But the idea of having, because I really like the idea of having a partnership with developers and with the board and with PwC to extend water. We don't have it now because 25, 30, 40 years ago, people wanted to live on their farms, and they did not want public water. We don't have the problem now of being annexed to the city of Fayetteville. That was a problem before. And having been through several contentious hearings about rezoning, my goal is for every child, every citizen, personally, to have access to public water. If it takes 12-inch lines, if we need to be talking about 12-inch lines, fine. But I don't want a child in this county or a citizen to have to drink tainted water, and you don't even know it's tainted, because I don't want to drink it myself. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Commissioner Lancaster?
Any other comments before I make a motion?
Okay, right here.
Well, I'm prepared to make a motion this time. I understand that the planning board recommended R30 instead of R20. And the planning staff talked about this water line extension and that it being critical to the existing development in this area. And I guess the educator in me and the citizen of Cumberland County feels the same way that Commissioner Council feels about the necessity for water in our neighboring schools. And because I believe that public water to our schools and residential neighborhoods is the most prudent thing that we can do, I feel that personally. I hope that the developer in this zoning issue does exactly what was said, and I know they will. And for this, I make the following motion that we zone it R20, which is consistent with the 2030 growth plan, and that this request is reasonable because the requested R20 district meets or exceeds any criteria related to septic systems, public street access, and not being located in any critical areas. And finally, this request is in the best public interest because the water line extension provides and it promotes public health. It expands the areas in which public water is going to be available, and certainly in nearby elementary schools. So that's my motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Voting in favor, Commissioners Faircloth, Evans, Chairman Adams, Commissioners Council, Lancaster, and Booth. Voting in opposition, Commissioner Keefe.
And
Second motion, I move to approve the request for rezoning to R20 as recommended by the planning staff for the reasons stated in the minutes of the planning board's consideration of this matter, which are included in the agenda materials and are incorporated into this motion by reference.
Second.
it's been moved and properly second. All those in favor?
That is unanimous.
Thank you.
The next public hearings are our minimum housing code enforcement cases. The
We
first,
will, Madam, just a moment.
Roger's giving me credit for being from Massey Hill
And not carrying about the county.
and not caring about the county. See, I'm the one that's gonna take the heat. Roger.
Madam Manager.
yes, sir. The first case is case minimum housing 1580-2016. Mr. Walters.
Scott Walters.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear or
Yeah.
affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. This first case is located at 5013 Cumberland Road. It is a unsecured, heavily dilapidated building. Essentially, it's a shell of a building. And we're here seeking an order for demolition.
I'll open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
I will close the public hearing. Any questions from the board, or I can entertain a motion?
I'll take the motion, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Keith?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that
Did
we
you have a
adopt.
Just a question. This is my first one here. I
Oh.
didn't know, do we get pictures or any information like the last time anybody was anywhere that was alive, was near this building or did anything with it? We had all kinds of charts and photos at the last one. I just didn't know what to expect.
You had your head down when the pictures went up
Yeah, no. I saw the pictures they have over here.
there? Okay.
You think you can flip it?
Commissioner, would you like me to go back through the pictures?
No. No, I just looked up and nothing was popping up, and I would say, if everybody else saw it, I didn't. That's okay.
There were some pictures.
There were some
We can
pictures?
certainly-
It was about they started there.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, that's what I was asking if you didn't see the pictures.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the order and report of the minimum housing inspector as the true facts in this case and order the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days.
Second.
To order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling if the owner fails to do so and impose a lien on the real property for the cost of such action, and to direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and orders in the ordinance certified by the chairman and record the same with the registered deeds.
Mr.
Second.
Booth. Okay. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor?
Unanimous?
The next case is case MH 1581-2016.
Yes, ma'am. This property is located at 2404 Elkhar Drive. This is an unsecured and dilapidated structure.
Slow down now. Mr. Booth is
Okay.
looking right there now.
And I was reading before, now I'm looking. How'd you get the sequence right?
There you
I
go.
missed it too.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
There's also a heavy collection of trash and debris inside and outside of this property.
It's underneath his name.
And we're here seeking an order for demolition.
Mr. Keith? No. Mr. Fairclough, I'm sorry. Commissioner Fairclough.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did you, I'm sorry, did we open the public hearing?
Oh, I did I not? Oh, I'm sorry. I opened the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
We'll close the public hearing. Thank you, Mr.
I'm sorry,
Vice Chairman.
I didn't mean to get ahead of myself.
I'm a rookie. There you go.
Okay, I move that we adopt the order and report of the minimum housing inspector as the true facts in this case, and that we order, excuse me, the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days, and that we order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling if the owner fails to do so, and impose lien on the real property for the cost of such action. That we direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and orders in an ordinance certified by the chairman and record the same in the register of deeds.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor?
Unanimous?
The next case is MH 1588-2016.
Yes, ma'am. This case is located at 4828 Jefferson Street. It's a manufactured home that is unsecured. And there have been some unpermitted additions. We have no records of going back at least 10 years of anybody pulling permits. These additions would require engineering. And we're here seeking an order for demolition.
I open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
I will close the public hearing. Would entertain a motion.
Okay.
Mr. Fairclough?
I'll take it again. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the order and report of the minimum housing inspector as the true facts in this case, that we order the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days, order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling, the owner fails to do so, and impose a lien on the property at the cost of such action, that we direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and orders in the ordinance certified by the chairman and record the same in the register of deeds.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
The final minimum housing case is MH 1577-2016.
And this case is located at 5375 Antique Drive. This is an unsecured manufactured home. It's dilapidated, and there's also a heavy accumulation, I can't talk tonight, of trash on the inside.
Oh, I forgot to look.
We're here seeking an order for demolition.
I open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
I will close the public hearing. I'll entertain the motion. Mr. Fairclough?
I'll do it again. Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the order and report of the minimum housing inspector, true facts in this case, that we order the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days. We order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling. If the owner fails to do so and impose a lien on real property for cost of such action, we direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and order in the ordinance certified by the chairman of the return to the register of deeds.
Second.
We heard that motion, and it's been second. All those in favor of the motion?
It's getting easier.
Unanimous.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
The next item is a public hearing for consideration of petition of DSI Properties LLC to close an unnamed, unopened road. And I'd ask our county attorney, Mr. Moorfield, to present this item.
Some background. On at the November 7th meeting, the board did adopt a resolution of intent to close this. It's an easement 30 feet in width. It's designated as a public road on the old plat that's recorded in Plat Book 9 at page 33. It is heavily wooded. There is not a road there. I presented at the November the 7th meeting. The board had with the package a number of documents in terms of parcel viewer maps, parcel viewer map of the subdivision, the site plan, legal description prepared by the engineer that's been doing this, working on this for DSI Properties LLC, his client. The actual strip to be closed is about 612 feet in length by 30 feet. The legal description is attached to this order tonight. No notice was given to any adjoining property owners because DSI Properties LLC owns all the abutting property for this strip on both sides. They have a business there and are desiring to close this to expand some building that they have in the business. The notice of intent was advertised in the Fayetteville Observer in compliance with the statute, and there is an affidavit of posting sworn to by Mr. Bagley, the engineer, which is attached, and then a certificate of confirmation of the order for the advertisements also attached. We do not have the publisher's affidavit yet because it's not been completed. The order is, the way this process works, if the board makes the findings that are shown on the order that's enclosed, then this is signed by the chairman and is filed in the Register of Deeds office, and then the property owner, in this case, the single property owner will become the owner of all that property in the closed portion by operation of law. I did report to the commissioners on November 7th in my research that the closing of this strip does not make any parcel landlocked based on the GIS parcel system that we have in my examination of that. So that is a finding the board has to make, and I am reporting that again. And this order does say that no one appeared to speak in opposition to the closing. If someone does, and I don't know whether that'll happen, but someone does speak, then the order of the board would be to modify the order to reflect that before it's recorded. So if there are no further questions, you can proceed with the public hearing.
I'll open the public hearing. Are there any speakers, Madam Clerk?
There are no speakers.
I will close the public hearing. Commissioner Council.
I move that we adopt the proposed order which is attached
Second.
to this item.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
The final public hearing this evening is on our community development substantial amendment to our 2016 annual action plan. As you may recall, this was on our evening meeting in November, but we asked to delay it, waiting for confirmation from HUD for us to move forward. So I'll call our community development director, Ms. Sylvia McLean, forward to present this item. There are two actions at the end of the public hearing we'd ask the board to consider. Come forward, please, Ms. McLean.
Good evening.
Good evening. As the county manager has indicated, this item was before you earlier, and it had to be removed from the agenda because we needed to receive a confirmation from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. As a part of our action plan that we submitted to you in May, we wanted to amend it to include the disaster relief. And in order to do that, we needed to amend our current action plan. And to do that, we needed to submit a substantial amendment. And we had to get HUD's approval in order to submit a letter. The county manager signed a letter early on to request to submit that amendment. And we received that letter. We received the letter from HUD indicating that the letter to request the waiver to have the amendment submitted was approved. So therefore, what you have before you is the request to actually the request to actually have the public hearing to amend our action plan, our 2016 action plan, which is the substantial amendment, and as a part of that, it would also include the two items that is the item that is a part of that, which is to hold the public hearing in addition to approving an increase of maximizing our housing rehab program and providing additional funds for housing repair for individuals who are needing assistance that were affected by Hurricane Matthew. So we are asking the board to open a public hearing to receive any comments that may be present tonight from the citizens. And if there are no comments from the citizens tonight, to have a public hearing, then close the public hearing so that we may submit the final plan to HUD. And in addition to that, to also approve the increase of to approve the maximum amount of our increase in our minor rehab program grant and approval of our disaster recovery housing rehab grant limit, which both of those programs will be a maximum of $10,000 per eligible homeowner. And I apologize, I wasn't quite prepared to actually come up here at this moment.
That's good. Can I ask one question, Madam Manager, and that was just because the letter that came from Mr. King, Matthew King,
Yes, sir.
which is dated September the 20th, but it talks about receiving our amendment dated November the 4th? Did they just put the wrong date and just send us a letter? I mean, just didn't change the date at the top, or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's before the
And-
hurricane.
And Madam,
I mean-
if you want me to address that.
Please.
Yes.
Yes, I sent HUD an email addressing that, I brought that to their attention. All of their reps have been dispatched out to different locations in Raleigh and through all of the flooded areas. So they have their staff, they are short-staffed. So I brought that to their attention that the date that they put on our letter, of course, is incorrect. And I assume that that date should actually be November 20th.
Right.
And so I brought that to their attention via email. So I think that they just simply, that was a
Okay.
typo.
I just wanted to make sure, because it looks as though it was, actually, I don't think the hurricane had come in at that point. in
Much
time.
later.
And then it was talking about our amendment, November the 4th. So I just want to make sure we were on sound ground. Commissioner Keefe.
Thank you. We got a couple questions for you. First of all, this is a real allocation of $300,000. That means it's coming from somewhere.
That is correct, sir.
Can you tell us where it's going to be going? Because the idea behind a public hearing is I'm sure that some people who are probably receiving that $300,000 may not be real happy about it. Can you tell us where it's coming from?
Yes, sir. It is coming from our existing programs. We had already allocated housing out of our housing rehab program. We had allocated existing funds from prior years of our housing, from our housing funds, from CDBG and from home. We're using existing funds from prior years. At the end of each program year, any grant funds that we have remaining, we basically carry those funds over into our new year. And so we are utilizing funds that were previously on the books that we did not spend from the previous years, and we carried them forward and reallocated them into the new year budget. And what we did, we had basically already put them in housing rehab. And instead of just simply leaving them as housing rehab, we wanted to distinguish them from just simply housing rehab and categorize them, a portion of those funds, into disaster recovery, so that we can isolate that, because HUD will be asking us exactly what funds did we use for disaster recovery.
Okay. I think I understand it, but basically you had $300,000 in unspent funds from previous years that you're just shifting over.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Let me go to my next question. This can only be used for single-family owned homes, correct?
Yes, that's what we're allocating these funds for.
All right, people can't do it if they're renters, and they can't do it if they multifamily homes or anything like that, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
We are allocating these for homeowners.
And I know people are hurting, and I think it's important that we're here tonight and we're letting people know that this is funded. Although it's only going from 7,500 to 10,000, that 2,500 could be significant. Now, I noticed that there's no sunset on this. Is this going to be our new normal now? Because we're doing it in the name of Hurricane Matthew, but sooner or later, people who have Hurricane Matthew damage are going to come back. Are we going to revert back to 7,500, or is it your plan that this become our new normal?
Okay, what you have before you are two programs. One is the minor repair program, which was our emergency repair program. what we were seeing, if you recall, when we submitted our caper last year, was that we discovered that some of our programs, we saw that there were some issues as it relates to how some of our clients were having difficulty in qualifying for our program, and that some of the rehabs were not, some of the clients we were not able to actually provide enough assistance through the emergency program. The cost of the rehabs for emergencies were not enough. $7,500 for emergency, it was indicated was not enough. Our staff did an assessment, and through their feasibility analysis, it was determined that $7,500 for emergencies was not enough in order to cover emergencies. Therefore, for the emergency, it was increased. So $10,000 for the minor repair.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Is disaster and emergency the same word now?
No.
Okay, all right.
Two different programs.
Okay, because we have two programs. One's increasing the minor repair housing grant.
Which used to be called emergency repair.
Right.
Program, to
Okay.
$10,000, which will address non-disaster related repair.
Got it.
And then we have our disaster-related repair program to address any homeowner that has a actual disaster, so that they are covered.
A disaster meaning a FEMA?
FEMA, correct.
Directed, so it will always be on the books. Last question. I promise I'll let you go. Can one applicant apply for both on the same property?
They could possibly, first, they would have to go through, if it's FEMA, if it's for a disaster, they would have to first go through their insurance. Then they would have to go through FEMA. Then they would have to go through through the disaster program, and then possibly through the emergency program.
Yeah, these are the last
So they would have
ones.
to go through all the other programs first, and we would have to qualify them accordingly, because HUD requires us to ensure that for the federal funds, we have to ensure that there is not a duplication of benefit as it
Right.
relates to the federal
Well,
programs.
I understand that, yes. Okay, well, thank you very much.
And this is outside the city of Fayetteville.
That is correct,
Okay,
sir.
we just want to make sure that our citizens knows that, because city of Fayetteville has their own community development.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of questions for you. Thank you for coming. The plan that you spoke of that had to be approved by HUD, and which we're having a public hearing for tonight, it has to be resubmitted back to HUD after the public hearing tonight, correct?
Yes, what we will do, what we submitted to them said draft. So what we will do, we will submit this to them with the word draft removed. And from what my understanding from HUD, basically, it has been technically approved, but we have to submit them the final document.
Okay, so with it being technically approved, when can the citizens that can utilize these funds, when do you have an approximate time period that it will come back from HUD said it's a go?
When we start, we're going to actually start sending out letters this week. So once the board actually approves this and give us an actual approval, then we can actually move forward.
Okay, so that would be after tonight, correct? Good deal, good deal. And one more question. I believe just one more. All the comments that I heard tonight regarding this is dealing with repair of homes. We have a number of individuals that are living in hotels or wherever they can live until their home is repaired or rebuilt. Are we doing anything? I know that they can receive, after the citizens have exhausted their funds from their insurance, if they had insurance, and from FEMA, is there any way that we can help as far as the continuation of them residing in these particular, wherever they may be staying at. From what I understand, that FEMA ends the 7th of January, as far as their funding is concerned, for individuals to live in other places until the houses are complete. Do we have anything in place for that?
We do not have any of our federal funds available for that. We have not targeted any of